Hello, one and all, and welcome to the Sorting Hat Podcast. I'm Michael Barrity, and as always, as of 2 episodes now, I'm joined by my co-host, Katie Reed.
Hello, everybody! Are you ready for sorting of things?
Yes, the Sorting Hat Podcast is simply devoted to sorting everything and anything in the known and unknown universe into the various houses of Hogwarts. You've got your Gryffindors, your Ravenclaws, your Slytherins, and your Hufflepuffs.
And everything under the sun, including the sun, can fit inside that sorting hat and be sorted.
Yes. And just to give you a general go-over, as we'll do, I guess, every episode, we're still figuring this out, your Gryffindors are primarily a bolder, braver bunch. An example of a Gryffindor would be someone like Joan of Arc.
Oh, definitely.
You can also, you can see them as somebody, they're going to take a stand. Sometimes it might cost them a little bit, but they're doing it presumably for a noble cause. Then you've got your Ravenclaws. Ravenclaws are more logic-oriented. They're a little more inquisitive. They're fiercely loyal. Someone like Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Definitely. Very intellectually inquisitive and adventurous.
Yeah, and then if you move on to Slytherins...
Boo!
You're always going to be a little bit angry at the Slytherins, Katie. It is worth noting, Katie is a known Hufflepuff. I am a Ravenclaw. We'll be getting to Ravenclaws in just a moment. Slytherins are very driven. They're a little more inclusive as far as, or not inclusive, exclusive. Exclusive, as far as groupings go.
They tend to be very single-minded. They go for what they want. They don't worry about the consequences.
Yeah, and they like the spotlight.
They're very short-term, not long-term.
So you can think of somebody, like most of the Kardashians fall under Slytherin rule. Both Kris and Caitlyn Jenner are prime Slytherins.
Definitely. Do you think Kris ever thinks about what she is doing with her life?
Well, that is a whole separate podcast, just discussing the Kardashians. I feel like that could be a pretty successful show.
If you can keep up.
And then we've got Hufflepuffs. I said we'll deal with Ravenclaws. We already dealt with Ravenclaws. I'm losing my mind. It's late. And then we've got our Hufflepuffs. Our Hufflepuffs are more... nature and family oriented. They're very peace oriented. They're trying to just keep everything even keel, man. They're a little dude-like in nature.
A little doofy.
Somebody who would fall under that sort of role is someone like Jane Goodall.
Definitely.
Very much interested in the nature, preserving that sort of thing. In past episodes, or our singular past episode, we were dealing with kitchen appliances, utensils, things you'd find in the kitchen. This round, new realm of theming. Both Katie and I were sick leading up to this, so I'm saying cold medicines, flu medicines.
Oh, okay, so the things that make you well.
Yeah, primarily, or things you'd be dealing with when you're sick.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. Let's get into it. What do you have for me first?
You can start with your general cough syrups, I suppose. Your NyQuils, your Dayquils, your Robitussin. It's worth maybe even asking the question, is there a difference, as far as you see, between a Robitussin and a NyQuil, and is there a difference between a Dayquil and a NyQuil, as far as sorting goes?
Oh, that's very interesting. Now, I feel, in general, a cough syrup, especially one like Dayquil, is going to be, and you might be interested, I'm going to say that it's a Slytherin.
Really?
It is a short-term suppressant. I'm not even necessarily sure that it heals anything, but it definitely has the single purpose of making sure that you're not coughing all over the microphone while you're trying to do a podcast or kiss a boy.
So then you feel like cough syrups in general fall into the Slytherin camp.
Oh, across the board. Now, maybe NyQuil could be something different, because that's definitely helping to make sure that you get the rest that you need.
Right. That was why I kind of brought up is it worth a distinction between Dayquil and NyQuil? Because Dayquil, it doesn't have the drowsy component, so it's purely masking. Whereas NyQuil does possess some of those sleepy qualities which make they don't necessarily fight the greatest fight, but they're looking out for you, which makes me believe, and maybe we're coming to the same thing. Is it worth saying it on the count of 3?
Let's
just
try.
To see? All right.
1, 2, 3. Hufflepuff.
Yeah.
All right. It's a non-confrontational thing. It's going to be an ally to the fight. It's not going to do the fight for you, but it's going to make sure that your body is asleep and getting those antibodies.
It's a good support. It is a good support. So NyQuil falls under Hufflepuff, and Dayquil falls under...
Especially if it's in pill form. It's very simple to take. They even candy coat it a little bit so that it doesn't have the disgusting taste.
Oh, see, whenever I deal with my cough syrups, I deal with them in the syrupy form. I like to get that little shot, but maybe that is purely me.
Michael's an alcoholic.
That is not the case at all. When we get to our alcohol-themed episode, you will see very clearly that I am not an alcoholic. I don't know my brandies from my gins.
Well, I guess we'll find out then. Yes, but I would say that NyQuil is a Hufflepuff, Dayquil is a Slytherin. And any syrups, suppressants, definitely are Slytherins.
And then would in similar fashion... Sorry.
And I hate taking cough syrup.
Okay.
Which is why it fits perfectly.
Well, except NyQuil is a Hufflepuff, which is your house. So, yeah, I know, right? Really just making you question everything.
He's making me be far more impartial than I'm gonna be. I'm not some Ravenclaw who's going to be like, oh, well, that makes sense. I shouldn't have a bias.
Okay, so if we're looking at, unless you have something transitory in nature, I'm thinking just cough drops following the line of cough as a prefix.
Now, those are essentially candy.
Yeah, they're a little more flowery in their nature, but they do make you feel good.
They do. A little bit boisterous.
Mm-hmm.
They have different flavors.
Mm-hmm.
So for that reason, I might even say they're Gryffindor.
Yeah, I'm thinking that as well.
They're helping you get through your day.
Yeah, they're putting in the work, short, quick bursts. They're here to help, and they're sacrificing themselves.
Absolutely. Also, on that same note, they're not healing you, but they're not necessarily making you think you're getting better than you are. So they're good at bluffing, which Gryffindors are also good. They're good at bluffing. Gryffindors don't lie. Neither do cough drops.
Yeah, they're just this is something that's going to soothe your throat. That's where it starts and ends. As far as if you've got the sniffles, we've dealt with coughs. Mm-hmm. Are there any sniffle-based drugs, or do you just want to start with Kleenex tissue paper?
Oh, tissue paper. Okay, well, I would say that tissue. I'm not sure why this it feels this way to me, but I feel like tissues are Ravenclaw.
I do too. I feel like it's a very practical approach to oh, you have mucus coming out of your nose? Well, you use this tissue. It meets all the practical applications.
Also, think about the application of the box. You pull one out, another one's ready to go.
Yeah.
It's very organized.
It's very organized. It's very at the ready. It's looking to help. Okay, so we've got our tissues in Ravenclaw. So then your Afrin or your Sudafed, those are nasal decongestants, one being a pill, one being a spray. Not sure if that causes any differentiation.
I would have to say, now this is interesting. I would have to say that the spray, I'm feeling like it's Hufflepuff.
Really?
I'm not sure why.
I was thinking you were going to say quite clearly because it's doing a very similar thing that cough syrup does, that it would be a Slytherin.
Right, but honestly, I've never gotten a nosebleed in my life.
Right.
And whenever I have the sniffles, I usually just sneeze it on out. That's a disgusting line I will never say again, that turn of phrase, those combination of words. But I don't really use it. It's not really in my wheelhouse. So I'm feeling like, what on earth?
Oh, you've not used Afrin.
I've never used nasal spray before.
Have you used Sudafed?
No, I don't.
You just tough it out.
Wow. Now I feel like I should try it just to know what it's like, and then maybe I would have a better idea.
I mean, I've got some. We're not doing drugs on this podcast. Over-the-counter drugs.
So Sudafed and nasal spray, they're also suppressant. They don't actually do anything to help you.
Yeah. I mean,
okay. Well, then in that case, definitely that it would be a Slytherin.
Okay. I wanted to hear you out and was like, maybe we're gonna. Nope. They're Slytherins.
We're gonna sometimes have to work out the things that Katie doesn't understand about things.
It's totally fair. When we get to music, I'm gonna need other guests because my music wheelhouse is super limited.
Okay, so Michael's weakness, music. Katie's nasal spray.
Yeah, right. Something that happens and is just basically everywhere versus something that is very specific. Okay, nasal decongestants. And I suppose for that very reason, we'll just link both pill and spray. Although I will say, I mean, this is just a slight on Sudafed. I don't think that Sudafed works nearly as well as it claims it does.
Ooh, we're calling you out, Sudafed.
I believe I'm correct when I'm saying Sudafed is a nasal decongestant. If not, I'm very sorry. I'm thinking of whichever pill is a drug that claims that it's a nasal decongestant.
You can tell we go hard on the drugs, kids.
Right? What else you got for me, Katie?
All right, now I want you to tell me, what do you think Emergen-C or other vitamin C based products that are used to boost and protect the immune system, how would you sort that?
See, I'm very torn because I was thinking about this going into this. And it's very driven. Emergen-C is very driven. Mm-hmm. But then you've also got, I mean, which is the one? Is Emergen-C the one that...
It's a little packet of Kool-Aid that you rip open, I think, and you put in the water.
Was that the one developed by the teacher? Which one is that?
And if it's developed by a teacher, it must be good.
No, is that the one that...
It definitely is.
No, that's Airborne. That's Airborne.
Oh, I feel like those both basically have the same purpose, don't they? They're both basically just vitamin C packets.
Yes. I just feel for some reason that I give more credit to Emergen-C.
Oh, that's interesting. What makes you say that? Only because the Airborne had that lawsuit against it?
Yeah, a little bit. I haven't heard any lawsuits against Emergen-C, so maybe that's
mostly because Emergen-C probably had the wherewithal to not make major claims that it could cure things.
Right. So I feel for that very reason, I think that there's the weird part of me that wants to say that Airborne is Gryffindor and Emergen-C is Slytherin.
What makes you say that?
I feel like it's a situation where Airborne bit off more than it could chew sort of situation and
Icarus flying too close to the sun.
Yeah, it
got a little boastful.
It flamed out. Was noble in its effort, being like, I am going to prevent you from getting sick, but in effect actually clipped its wings.
Gotcha. I know what you're gonna say about Emergen-C, that it's single-minded, it's driven.
Yeah.
It has basically one purpose. But Michael,
are you gonna try to switch me over to Ravenclaw on
this? I absolutely agree with you about Emergen-C. And I'm probably going to get some flack for this later for going in hot on the Slytherin hate. But vitamin C supplements are a con. And here's why. We're going to go right now.
It started out looking like you were embracing, and then
Ladies and gentlemen, vitamin C supplements often give you a dose that is so many times more than the body can actually handle. It ends up getting extracted through the various ways that the body gets rid of extra things that it does not need, through the kidneys and through the liver.
Very technical term, things it does not need.
You know what? I'm trying to sound like I have some authority here. But what I'm saying is, vitamin supplements, especially vitamin C, you will always be given way, way, way more than you need. It's not good for you. And for that reason, I cannot endorse vitamin C. I feel like it's harmful for you, but it's coming in a nice little package. It looks really cute. Oh, it's from Oranges. It's like that Toad lady in Harry Potter. You know, the one who takes over for Dumbledore when he gets fired. And she was wearing the Chanel coat, and she was making Harry Potter write in his own blood.
Dolores Umbridge.
All right, yeah, Miss Trunchbull is Emergen-C. She seems like she's going to be something that is very utilitarian, but it's harmful for you. And it costs a lot in the long run.
Okay, I wasn't really arguing against that at all.
I know, I felt very much like That's how much I don't like vitamin C supplements.
That's fair.
I sound like a crazy person, but it's Slytherin.
What about orange juice?
Oh, I got nothing against orange juice.
Is orange juice just like Hufflepuff? Or is orange juice Ravenclaw?
I would say that orange juice is hearty and pulpy. It has a little bit more sugar than I think a Ravenclaw would want. Mm-hmm. But it's good for you in a nourishing way, like a mother's love.
Oh, okay, then yeah, you're going Hufflepuff on that.
Yeah, Hufflepuff, orange juice, 100%.
All right, so we've dealt with our, preventative before with airborne and emergency. We've dealt in like orange juice. We've dealt with our in the midst of it. Are there any other?
I want to propose that antibiotics are Gryffindor.
Yeah, like, you go to if it's prescribed, I feel like that's pretty well. Yeah, no, you're right.
Yeah, and it's going into the body. It's fighting the good fight very passionately. I would say that antibiotics are that.
Would you say that? I mean, this is deviating a little farther out, but like flu vaccines, do you think are Slytherins?
That's interesting because it's basically a small infection of the actual strain itself into your body.
It's the dead virus
introduced into your body.
Right. That helps, in fact, allow your body to like suss out that virus if you do encounter it. For that very reason, I feel that strikes all the right Slytherin chords of being like very focused on doing a single job. So we've got our flu vaccines being Slytherins and our antibiotics being Gryffindors. It's very interesting how sometimes these work out. Like when we were doing kitchen stuff, it was all Hufflepuff. Like Hufflepuff was cleaning up, and now on this one, it seems really split between like Slytherin's actually cleaning up in this.
Oh, really? That's so interesting.
Yeah, it's like
because Slytherins are bad for your health.
No, not really. They seem to be focusing in on things.
No, that's true.
They're laser focused with their precision. I feel a little bad because we don't have like a Ravenclaw. We just have tissues. I'm wondering if there is like a very clear Ravenclaw related cold or flu thing, but I suppose that's something that we can leave to you, our listeners, to figure out. If you happen to think of anything that we might have missed that very clearly falls under the category of cold or flu that you think is deserving of being in the House of Ravenclaw or Hufflepuff or Slytherin or Gryffindor, or you disagree with us on any of these sorts of things, you can reach out to us on Twitter. You can reach me at Belated Media, and you can reach Katie at ThatKatieReed. We thank you so much for your listenage, and we will be joining you in another episode of this Sorting Hat podcast.
All right, I love you. Bye.
Bye.